Hey, all you Hero Lair freaks, back again with Hero Lair, at least half of it. The Portuguese guys are on vacation and otherwise occupied, so it's us today, myself and Big Sims.
What up?
Today we're going to be talking about Warcraft. Now, we had looked at Warcraft in the trailers before. This is going to be a full spoiler review, so, you know, keep that in mind from here on in. Spoiler time. We had done the trailer, we looked at this film, and you know, especially myself, I was probably the heaviest critic of this film. In watching it, you know, that I was very pleasantly surprised. I thought they did a lot with this film. So overall opinions for you.
Okay, first off, let me say that we are watching this movie not fans of the game. So we haven't played the game, we don't know much of the canon, so please, don't give me any hippie comments, I can't believe it, da, da, da. But overall opinion, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was very surprised because I saw the first trailer and I was like, we'll see. But, you know, never judge a book by its cover. This is what shows you never judge a book by its cover.
Yeah. See, the same thing for me. I mean, I did play Warcraft a little bit when I was, I don't know, like very early high school, maybe grade 9 or 10 or something like that. But it wasn't like a really expansive coverage of the game. I got enough to really understand what it was about, but I don't know it well, and I definitely didn't play all the other iterations of it. So again, this is just a, you know, we are definitely movie fans and critiques and of the genre, of course, but specifically to the brand of Warcraft, yeah, we're just observing it kind of almost a bit more passively than we would, let's say, Batman versus Superman, or some of the hero stories or comic adaptations. But yeah, for me, again, very, very enjoyable. I thought the plot was really interesting. I thought the kind of sweeping looks of the landscapes were engaging. To me, overall, it's a very positive outlook. I would give it like I don't know, as far like high 8 point something out of 10, like something like definitely like that. Maybe eight once I get into some of the character foibles. But yeah,
and that's the thing because originally checking out the trailer, I was looking at
I would give it a 6.
I was looking at the animation. I'm like, all right, well, you know, we'll see, because historically, number one, it's a movie based on a video game that rarely ever successful, right? 2, it's a movie that relies heavy on animation, right? And 3, you know, you're using swords and a bunch of sets, like extravagant sets. Rarely in the movie industry does all that actually come together and it's an actual successful film. Because you can think of like, well, I can think of some movies where it's like, you know, they have horses and orcs and you know, goblins and they weren't that successful. I mean, Lord of the Rings was very successful, but there's like,
and that's your archetype for goblins.
You could go to Netflix and watch a bunch of bad movies that have the same, you know, try and do the same thing with animation and you know, real life.
But that I would argue then that they might not have the same budget.
Man, fuck you, son. I'm glad you think it's so goddamn hilarious because he just walked off with the school clothes money. It's funny, isn't it? I'm broke, nigga, I'm broke!
Like, we'll get to that later. Oh, this movie has a budget of, what was it, 150 mil, 160, 160 million.
But yeah, right? But what I'm trying to say is, like, you already in your head, with all these things coming together, like a movie based on a video game, heavy on animation, you're like, I don't know, I don't want to touch, you know what I mean? So, but when I actually watched it and I saw, like, you know, the sets, and I know I can tell if I was watching as a fan and you saw like Stormwind for the first time, or I forgot what the castle up in the like the city in the sky. Yeah, I bet you're like, oh shoot, you know what I mean? It's like when you're watching a Marvel movie. And you know, just the scale of the battles You know what I mean? And it's like trailer reaction. And you were talking about how the orcs are so big, but it's like they actually kind of explain why they're so big. You know, like and you know, and then you see the half breed.
Yes,
you know, and
it's that's
like,
a big thing because like another part of it was like why does this one in the trailer? I'm like, why is that orc looking so conveniently human, the female, and then the males look so different. That she was a hybrid, and then the actual orc females look a lot more orcish, and they're smaller, but that's fine. In the animal kingdom, in nature, you have discrepancies between the genders, whether it be a larger male or a larger female, as it is in the insect kingdom, whatever it is. So and they put them together a lot better. I found when the animation really tightened it, they looked less cartoonish and more just a large breed of creature, which, you know, even me as like an evolutionist, you know what I mean? Like I was looking at all the things they did, and I'm like, you know what? This is like, even in a scientific capacity, quite well founded for a species.
And they're coming from another world.
Exactly.
So you don't even know.
Yeah. What
you know what
evolutionary forces.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Of course.
So
and there's magic involved.
Yeah.
So you never like
exactly.
that's a wild card. You could just Let's critique it.
Okay.
My first critique, some of the characters, and I'd say specifically the human characters, not the orc characters.
Yeah.
Lacked depth. They were very one-dimensional, very kind of, I don't know, cliche characters. For example, the Lothar character was, to me, a little bit one-dimensional. You know, was temperamental at convenient times. For twists in the plot, like, oh, you're acting, you know, angry, we're gonna have to lock you up at a key scene when you're supposed to go into battle. You know, very predictable kind of humor in there. I thought that a lot of the orcs had a lot more depth. The expression in their faces, even though they're animated, the mood that they presented, the depth of feeling and interaction and culture they presented. I learned a lot more about orc culture in this film, and I learned about this especially the Frostwolves, is it the Frostwolf tribe? I believe that's what their tribe is. I learned so much about them, and the human condition, not so much. I didn't really. They were a very superficial lot. I found, not all of them, but especially like certain key characters I found were very predictable.
Like I felt the king. Was very like. He didn't have much depth to him.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not that he's a bad actor, because that's Dominic Cooper. Dominic Cooper. And Dominic Cooper, if you haven't read the comics, The Preacher, he's in the new Preacher series.
Yeah, and
so is
some nigga.
Some nigga. Ruth Nigga. Her name's actually Nigga. Yeah, so she and they're both in Preacher, and they're both great in Preacher.
Yeah.
Great in Preacher.
Yeah.
In this, Ruth is alright. Dominic's alright.
You know what? I'm so used to Ruth being like this, like snide kind of like Starscream behind the scenes, you know, in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right?
Okay.
And now it's like, you know, I think it's just like she was trying to be this noble woman, but like she was trying to.
Yeah, I mean that's a personal bias that you're trying to like unhinge though. But I
guess so.
But but at the same time, she maybe some people are just better characters like as villains or better characters.
Yeah.
Some people are just better at it, right?
Yeah,
you're not gonna get like someone like, let's say, Danny Trejo, you know, to play Prince Charming.
No.
Anything else for character that you thought was?
The orcs, they really had a sense, especially the Frost Wolf tribe.
Yeah.
It's like it was like a real sense of family
and honor
and it's just a collective. Listen, I know I'm bound by honor that I have to go to battle and I have to go to war, but honestly, all I really want to do is provide for my family.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just coexist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I didn't really like Medivh.
Oh yeah. Medivh. Medivh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Medivh. Yeah. Medivh.
Medivh.
Yeah, Medivh.
He like, okay, I kind of he was kind of
riddled,
very
he was
predictable.
riddled with plot convenience as well.
Yeah, and he was very predictable to me. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, okay, this motherfucker's this dude doesn't seem right. He seems like he's gonna betray somebody, and you know, I mean, I bet you if you were a fan and you were watching this as a fan, you'd be like, okay, that's. But it's like very like Emperor Palpatine, Darth Sidious.
Yeah.
You know,
but I think it's more than just the predictability. I think it's the plot convenience of it. It's just like at certain times he reveals certain things. At certain times he's destroying orcs. At other times he's doing other things to help.
Yeah.
At very convenient points, right? So I think that would be my critique. Actually, when you were talking about the orcs, that brings up another thing I found. One thing I'd say, like as a bit of a logical foible with the orcs, is they're so honor bound. Right? Maybe it's the compulsion of the Fel, because it seems that it does take over their mind a little bit, and it seems that it's those orcs that are influenced, or the green ones, I think, are in some way affected by the Fel, which we can talk about after, because that was like a point of confusion for me for a bit through the film. But as much as they're bound by honor, they're going and they're being ordered to take out orcs and kill other orcs. Mm-hmm. But then we see that a lot of those orcs, at the end, conveniently say, "You have no honor, Guldar or Gul'dan." You know what I mean? But like during, again, convenient points in the film, they're going against their own brothers and killing them and destroying them, chasing them down. Kills,
I get
Ogrim's wife there. His
so
mate.
what I got from it was the Frostwolf tribe. It would the rest of the horde felt that as a betrayal what they were doing, so that's why they were
true
thing.
enough.
So
still, I guess.
Yeah, and to be quite honest, there were a lot of times where the orcs were like, I know they're just kids. Why am I going to kill? Respect the old ways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
yeah,
it's
but
like,
that was always Orgrim. That was always Orgrim.
Yeah, and it's like, now you're telling me to respect the old ways, but now you're not doing it. So it's like, I kind of...
Yeah. So that would be for me for the characters. In terms of plot, for me, we're talking about the Fel being that dark power. Mm-hmm. I don't know, like, you can definitely enlighten us. Like, as we admitted, we know we don't have the greatest scope with relation
we're
to...
We're coming in off the street. I don't know history, I don't know.
Yeah.
Coming in off the street.
So be gentle.
Yeah.
Now the Fel, as it relates to the plot of the film, it seems to influence and take the minds and corrupt, kind of like the dark side of the Force.
Yeah.
Of those it touches. There were a couple points in the film where it was like, all right, what's with Vidiv, right?
Okay.
Why is it just manifesting itself in certain points? I guess maybe it's harboring him in him. What was the contact? How long does it take in him to harbor in him, to like take over his mind in such a way? Is he just a carrier of it? Is Gul'dan the one who really controls it? Because it took him over, the Guardian, Vidiv. Mm-hmm. It takes him over completely into a different sentient being completely, or almost more like a drone than a sentient being.
Okay.
Whereas Gul'dan wields it, even though it draws and corrupts him, you can see these spines growing out of it. It twists his nature.
Yeah.
And when he infuses the war chief, it kind of twists him as well, right?
Like Super Shredder.
Yeah, so I just a bit more. I would have liked maybe a bit more clarity with the Fel. I mean, I get it. I get the concept, but is it a power like someone like, because the Guardian is a mage as well, a high-ranking mage, so he has control of magic. He knows how to use it. He's very efficient with it, so he should be able to use it as Gul'dan does, unless there's something we don't know. Perhaps it's an orc thing. Who knows?
So, from what I understand, somebody had to let the Dark Wizard in, right?
Yeah.
And that was
yeah.
So he was already. So I guess it feels like he was already, playing with the magic
Yeah.
in the beginning. So and it just started slowly corrupting him.
Yeah.
And then because it slowly corrupted him, then he's coming over. I from when I.
But you see what I'm saying? Gul'dan has his conscious mind, his sentient mind all the time.
No, but he's twisted. That's they explained it. Like he's been so twisted and warped that has changed his mind. So we don't even know. This is like the final.
I suppose.
This
Yeah, I
is the final
suppose we can
product
see. But like,
of
but
the
you
film,
see what I'm saying? Like even if he's like corrupted with evil, he still expresses himself as like a sentient being. Whereas the Guardian was like, I am the Guardian. I must open the door. I must kill you. You must not do. Like it changed him in a different capacity. You see what I'm saying? He became an automaton, whereas Gul'dan is still a functioning sentient, even though he's just more angry.
But
and
I think
hateful.
from this is what I believe. I feel it's a slow, gradual transformation, and then finally, and then even if like Gul'dan wouldn't want to relinquish all the power of the Fel, so he's probably using them. Even as a pawn, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's like
that's
it
what
was
I'm saying.
like how we made Super Shredder.
Right. So, but that's what I'm saying. We're assuming it wasn't clear in the film. That's why I'm saying for like.
I'm sure you could. Feedback. It's all right. I'm just telling you, like, we understand that Warcraft is church.
Yeah.
But we are just coming off the street in our street clothes. You can't judge us.
And it's all encompassing, right?
Exactly.
There's so much lore in Warcraft. So like they could be trying to, just like Batman versus Superman, smashed all these elements together, all these comics together. They're smashing all. There's probably condensing a lot.
Like I really don't think so. I think because there's it's been. Warcraft and
this is only the
Warcraft
first film,
has been
too.
so many years. Yeah, they're planning on sequels. Number one,
Yeah.
But two is like even in the game there were add-ons after add-ons after add-ons. You know what I mean? It's not even like they made a World of Warcraft 2. It's just they keep on. Hey, we're gonna add this.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So
it's like
you have to condense it.
Yeah,
You
but
have
I think I think this was like condensing the first like Warcraft game and then boom. You know what I mean? Then it's the sequels.
Are there any other like plot critiques that you had? Because for me, there were just a couple of small logical pitfalls. Nothing crazy. Again, plot convenience. There's always this like adage. You watch like movies like the new Terminator, any movie. There's this concept about like two beings of great power being in a fight, and for the purpose of the audience's entertainment, like one grabs the other and throws them.
Yeah.
But it's not like they're toying with them. The objective is actually to kill that opponent.
Yeah.
Well, kill him. It happens again. This you got what's his name? The war chief wants to kill Lothar. Okay. So Lothar has been hacking down like mad amount of orcs, which is pretty crazy given the size difference, right? But whatever, he's fast. He's stabbing them. Whatever, it makes sense.
1 second. How much did he remind you of Ragnar Rothgar? Like, did he just take his character and just move it over?
I honestly didn't find it that much.
Really?
Because when he's Ragnar Lothbrok, he has a completely different accent and he has a completely different look on the face. Like he's like, like when I want to do this, I will do it myself.
Yeah.
And when I do it myself, then I will give it to my son. And you are not good enough to do that.
Yeah.
He has a much more psycho sinister way of expressing it.
Yeah.
And this one he was just very superficial, British, like Prince Charming kind of with hate. I don't know. Anyways, so the war chief sees Lothar slaughtering all his people. Combat, right? These are a war-hungry, tribe of creature, these orcs. So he sees Lothar bent over in a vulnerable position, right? And he wants to kill him. So what is the first thing he does? Instead of just like, because he's not an anonymous random character, instead of just bludgeoning him with his war mace or whatever, he grabs him by the scruff and throws him into the air and lets him land. And then there's like that cliche movie scene where he's like, his sword's gone. He's like, he's looking at his sword.
Yeah.
What are you looking at your sword for? Your legs are fine.
Yeah.
Go get the sword.
Yeah.
Why do you have to wait for like the lumbering approach just so we as the audience can see the strength of the orc throwing him and the menace of the approach? No, like that doesn't make any sense, right? Like so, little things like that occurred. you know, one of the ogres grabs a horse, gorilla presses it, and tosses it at two dudes.
Yeah.
Then he proceeds to ride that same. Sis,
okay,
if you can gorilla, look, we're a similar weight, but you definitely weigh more than I do.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say I'm the ogre.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're the horse.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't even know who would weigh more, the horse or the ogre. It'd have to be the ogre.
The ogre.
Because he. But okay, fine. So look. Okay. So the ogre weighs more. Okay. So you're fighting me. All right.
It was a Clydesdale. Maybe it was.
Yeah. Okay. I don't care. You're fighting me. Okay.
Yeah.
You knock me out. You like bench press me.
Yeah.
So Sims weighs about 300.
300.
300 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay. I weigh about 230. Okay. That would be the respective difference, pretty much, between the orc and the horse.
Okay.
Orc, horse.
Yeah.
Okay. He picks me up over his head and tosses me. Let's say.
Yeah.
You're gonna tell me what do you think my getaway speed is gonna be if you leap on my back and tell me to go?
He wasn't going that fast.
Yeah,
though.
I don't care, sis. I don't. Not only would that horse would have been like squatting on the ground and butt touching the ground like. And he was holding it by the head to control it.
You know what, man? You can still carry me on your back.
But we're talking about efficiency of carriage.
No, I know.
You know if you jump on that, you've done this before. You jumped on my back.
Yeah.
You know I can hold you up.
Yeah.
You know I can move with you.
Yeah. Football.
He would tackle me. Okay, that's it. So you know I can hold you up and carry you for a bit, right? But I'm not going to be like running like I was running in the open field, pulling jukes and stuff like that with you on my back. It's not. That's not happening, right?
No.
So, anyways, little things like that. That was it was interesting to watch. A couple other little critiques that I had then, in just terms of like logical pitfalls, were, the mage, the young mage. So he finds out, he discovers, seeing the green in Vidiv's eyes, the guardian, the green in the guardian's eyes, he recognizes that he's poisoned or infected by the fell energy, the fell magic. He tells like one person and leaves.
Hell no, to the no, no, no. Hell to the no, hell to the no, to the no, 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 no.
He didn't warn anybody. He just jumped on a griffin, flew away for God knows how long it took to get to those other those other mages, and the floating island or whatever it was. But no one knew. Like he could have. That could have saved a lot. I think a lot of heartache.
Yeah.
I mean, people died because of that. You know what I mean? A lot of people died because.
Darth Sidious is Emperor Palpatine. Just so
exactly. Yeah. By the way, I found it out. Sidious is Palpatine.
No Order 66.
Yeah. Exactly. No Order 66. Exactly. Yeah. The whole summoning of the other, orcs from the other world, all that kind of stuff could have been like avoided. They didn't even have to kill him. Just incapacitate him. Anyway, so there's that, and also there's a small thing. This might be explained actually in another film.
Yeah.
What was the gift the Guardian gave the hybrid? He's like, this gift is for you.
Yeah.
Okay? It was a flower.
She just teleported to...
but it was a flower. He manifested a flower out of blue energy.
And then she teleported to... Whatchamacallit? What's his name, right?
Yeah, right. But what the hell was the flower?
That's a good question.
Maybe it'll be answered. Maybe you guys know.
Or maybe the gift was a teleport.
What's that?
Maybe the gift was a teleport right to his... Where he is right now.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe something happened.
See, again, now this is assumption, right?
Half-breed babies all over the place. Plot pitfall for me was... So, this unknown mass army comes and starts invading the land. And when the king is asking for help...
Yes! I forgot about that.
It was like, you know what? I'm going to sit this one out. I'm good. I'm good. Killing, pillaging...
You are asking us to work like dogs. The dwarves do not want to work. Do you want to die like dogs?
When dwarves are making handguns and shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, listen, look, we don't know how to make guns or boomsticks or whatever. I'm sorry, but that's the weapon we're gonna use. Have you seen those guys?
Yes, exactly.
Dude, do you?
Make a bigger boomstick.
Yeah, exactly.
A ball like this.
You guys are up to their like kneecaps.
Yeah.
You know, do you want to go in with an axe?
Yeah,
exactly.
Let's make more of those. Yeah, and it's like nobody wants to help.
And the elves were just being bitches.
Yeah.
The elves are just being blue-eyed bitches.
But elves are traditionally bitches.
Yeah,
No, they don't want to get in. They don't want to get involved in shit.
True.
Until it's too
Traditionally,
late.
but at the same time, at the end, they usually, when it comes to their own egoist survival.
Yeah, then they'll jump in.
Yeah.
But it's not time yet. This is the first movie, right?
But there was the whole thing was there, like they could cap that off and save the whole land without having to lose.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Man, I was just like, listen, if somebody was like terrorizing, like let's say we were at school and somebody was terrorizing the school.
You're out! Doyle rules! Doyle rules!
O'Doyle rules!
Thanks a lot, O'Doyle. Nice meeting you. Thanks a lot, fellas. You're saving my life.
O'Doyle rules.
O'Doyle, I got a feeling your whole family's going down.
Terrorizing, like let's say we were at school and somebody was terrorizing the school.
Yeah.
And we're all like me, you, Mario, Dan.
And people we didn't get along
Yeah.
with.
And we're like,
that.
yo, man, like
Our team got along really well though.
It's like,
Yeah, for the most part. This
Yeah.
guy, a couple times, some other people got draped up.
no. All at school.
Yeah.
Somebody's terrorizing. I can't, like, if I was like, listen, guys, like, I think we're gonna have to, like, jump this dude. We're gonna have to team up and fuck this dude up. People aren't gonna be like, you know what, I'm gonna sit this one out.
Yeah.
Like, you can stop the problem first day of
Yeah.
school before it happens.
Yeah.
But no, you don't want to help.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You're gonna wait till it's too late.
Yeah.
And now you have a overpopulated
Yeah.
orc population, and now what? What are you gonna do?
Yeah. And each one individually weighs like 4 times to 5 times
You're
more than
you're
that.
basically
It's like-
fighting a mini Hulk.
yeah.
In each.
in each individual member. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. There's
I hear it. All right.
yeah.
So what do you applaud?
I applaud a lot. Okay, so we talked about the escapes and the battles, but I like the way they incorporated the actual game vantage point, where it goes one section of battle, like you can see all kinds of battle going on, then it's like when you scroll, the next battle.
Yeah.
I was like, that's really clever. I was like, yeah, well done, well done. I like that homage to the actual game itself. I really enjoy, like, a lot of the times when the orcs were combating one another, it wasn't cheesy. Like, you know, with a lot of when there's combat in a lot of films, you find it is a very standard cliche cheesy kind of interaction. Here it was very, they gave the orcs a style.
Yeah.
And the orcs weren't, you know, skillful sword wielders. It didn't seem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They relied on heart, savagery, and brute strength.
Yeah.
You know what I
It's
mean?
like
There-
everybody
there-
had a fighting style.
Yeah, there was a style to it, but it fits their bodies. Their bodies aren't meant to move swiftly and gracefully necessarily. They're like brutish raw power.
Yeah.
So when they're, you know, when Ogrim is fighting Gul'dan at the end, you know, the way they're spinning, twirling, heavy, haymaking shots.
And it's like you could almost predict what Ogrim was trying to do. Like when he ripped off like one of the bones, like he was gonna stab it in his face.
Yeah,
Just,
exactly.
you know
That's
I mean?
what I
It's
thought,
like-
right? I thought it was definitely going to do that, and then he got stopped before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just a very rugged style, and so I love the interaction between the orcs, and they're just the immense power that you can get from it. Not only that, like the animation, their budget being okay. So if you look at the budget of X-Men Apocalypse. X-Men Apocalypse budget was like about 178, is it? 100, so yeah, 180, whatever it is, around there, $1 million. This one was about 160.
Yeah.
Right? So the special effects, I feel,
we're better.
Yeah, I felt we're you know what I mean. We're better, and there was, it was much more all encompassing in this film.
Yeah.
So, given that budget, I think they did like a fantastic job. Like it was really, you could really identify with the movement. You could feel, just like when you watch some of the good Hulk movies, like and you can feel the power of each creature. You can, the sound, the movement, the way it's each shot is labored. It doesn't look passed over. They really put depth and detail into motion capturing, you know, something big moving around, and it really brings the viewer into the fray, and lets you identify with it. So that was the animation was profound, and on the creatures too. The wolves were believable. That version of wolves.
Yeah, it's just like even you can see the movements of the wolf and
the pressure,
like,
and the
it's like, I want to rip your face off, but you have my master.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they didn't do just wolves, or else it wouldn't make sense for an ogre to just jump on.
Yeah.
These things were much thicker built.
Yeah.
Right? They were more like a warg or something like that. The griffins were good in that sense as well. Now we're talking about the battle between, you know, the orcs and the orcs and the humans was interesting too, because for the most part you saw the orcs just running through, and when they catch someone, that's it, you're done. That's it. Boom. Yeah. Exploded brain. Yeah. Shattered cranium. Cave chest. Yeah. You know, it's done. One shot bang. But you did see where, you know, the orcs were like intently focused on something else, you get stabbed from behind. Yeah. Or they take a swing, and they miss because it's a bit slower. You can telegraph the shot a bit. Yeah. They sweep under, and just like a basic stab to the ribs. It's like, oh yeah, I'm huge, but you got me in the heart. You got my vital organs. Yeah. I'm down, right? Like, you know, it's not like some kind of, you know, they, in a lot of film, the pinnacle bad guy doesn't go down very well. You know what I mean? Like they just. This was a very good carnal view of just, you know, life. Yeah. They're just creatures, large creatures. You're huge, you know? Yeah. If someone, you know, who's like 5'3" stabs you with a lance in the chest, you're not going to ignore it, you're going to feel it.
But because humans are more frail, they're heavily armored, swords, and orcs are like larger, and they probably don't have to deal with a lot of in their own world, so that's why.
And they're not as advanced technologically.
That's true,
right?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. But even if you would assume that they would put like some kind of bone or like, because even the one war chief had like the spines. Animals, the spines, and it's just like they would
that
still
would be
have
really
some
annoying,
kind of
by the way, to have ribs and spines digging into you like that. An annoying piece of. Anyways,
I think it's just showing how tough you are.
Yeah, exactly, because we don't know what those creatures were.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed that. Like that was fantastic. I liked the way they did the magics, like the way the magic swirled and whirled around.
It kind of reminded me of like Tony Stark, like moving.
A little bit, yeah, but the sound again. The sound was good. There was almost like a magnetic kind of feel to the Force. Yeah. So it kind of it's less. It's almost, I don't know. It's magic, yet it's somehow more believable.
Well, you know why? Because there were rules about the magic.
Yeah.
And it was like okay, if you're dealing with a magic wielder, all you have to do is close your mouth so they can.
Yeah, it was, So now they're not.
So it's almost like it's almost like an RPG, and you hit somebody with silence, and they can't use their magic anymore. I really enjoyed that.
And there were limitations too. Like even the Guardian, when he was over top, he's like overseeing this whole thing. Yeah. And he's trying to make his magic. It's imprecise. It's not this like laser guided precision thing that is all powerful.
Yeah, because it's elemental.
Yeah. Right? So he gets drained. And even when he's not, the magic has limitations in its ability. Yeah. Right? So I thought that evens the playing field a bit. Yeah, you have one mage can do a lot of damage, but they're not omnipotent. Right? And so that allows for a much more dynamic and involved and inclusive battle scene. Right?
And he went to the well one too many times with every time he had to do a big expense.
But I think it's because the fell was weakening him though, isn't it?
And maybe the more he expended his light magic, that's why the fell.
It was increasing. I think it was increasingly taking him over. Right?
Yeah,
because you see
because he was weaker and he couldn't fight it.
At the scene in the end, he just kind of bleeds out that fell dark crap. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, I thought. I mean, those are some of the things that I would definitely kind of applaud
Yeah.
in the film that really made the film very much enjoyable.
I think people haven't really given this movie a chance, and you know, I would highly suggest if you're watching this and you haven't seen it yet, and you just want to, you're just, because sometimes I look at trailer reviews, and if it's a movie I don't even really think I'm gonna watch in theaters, I'm gonna wait till DVD or whatever. I'll just watch the spoilers or whatever. But if you haven't seen it yet, I would highly suggest you see it, because man, I was surprised.
So was I. Yeah, what was in it I expected, but a lot was unexpected. A lot of the refinement was unexpected.
Yeah.
So let us know what you think, whether you loved it, whether you hated it. Please leave comments, and please do subscribe. We're trying to reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers, and we're
slowly getting there, but
inching our way.
part of it is our fault too, because like we're all busy this summer, and you know, it's like we haven't been able to get together and do enough content. So as you can see, Josh and I, we're gonna start trying to do a lot more together, and then eventually, you know, we're gonna have a Hero Lair with all the crew, because it's like forming the Justice League. Yeah.
Like, subscribe. We are Hero Lair, and where can they find you at?
They can find me at big_Sims on Instagram, Twitter.
Okay. For me, authorship is www.joshuamartyr.com. Take care.